Hello world, welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect. I'm your host Sam, and we are back again with another one. And we are in the international break, people, and we are just gonna be doing something in this new thing that I'm starting. I think it's gonna be something that is gonna be interesting, where we take a look. It's just like a review of how the top six teams have performed in the Premier League from the last international break to where we are now. So I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts. So I cannot do all the six teams at once. That just becomes boring. We make the video all long and stuff like that. So I'm going to try by all means to start on looking at the teams in terms of how they are like in the table. So yes, like I said, I'm covering the top six teams, and it means Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Those are the six teams that I'll be covering, but I'm starting with the one that is at the top of the table, at the top of the mountain, Manchester City. How they performed in this 2 months before we were from the last international break to this new one, the one that we just getting into. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think and what are you expecting? Then we'll continue as we go on with the weeks, just to talk about the other teams that we go. I can't wait to talk about Liverpool because full-time Reds. But anyway, I need to make sure that I do justice everything that I'm talking about here. So stick with me, people. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you excited about this? And let me hear your favorite moments as well of these teams as we go on in this series, because it's really gonna be interesting as I cover some of the teams that have already played and exactly how they're performing. So do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the Connect, and let me know in the comment section which one is your favorite time in this one. And yes, of course, people, it doesn't mean I'm stopping with the reactions. I still have some things that I need to cover. There are some reactions that I'll be doing as we go along with this, but it's also something that I want to do in the international break, because the international break is always boring. So you find that I don't do so much in the Connect, so I'm trying to change that. Yeah, I'm sorry it's taking so long, this intro, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of how we are trying to set up the Connect as we go forward. So let's get into this video as we do the reviews. So Man City, I think they've had a good, or should I call it an average run of games in terms of from the last international break to where they are right now. As we are I'm looking at the teams that they've played. Of course, since the 16th of September, which was after the international break, they played West Ham, which they beat by 3 goals to 1. They also played, I think, is it called the Shegnea Veveda or something like that, and they beat it by 3 goals to 1. They played Wolves, Nottingham Forest, where they actually won by 2 goals to 0, but they got a red card. I think that's the red card that they got to Rodri. Then they also played Newcastle, which Newcastle beat them and took them out of the Carabao Cup. Played Wolves, and Wolves, the interesting part, beat them by 2 goals to 1. Can I just say something before I continue, keep going with this list? How lucky is Wolves? Cause this is how fun it is. Wolves, when they were about to play Man City were coming from the last game which they got the red card, so they were missing their biggest players, and they played Tottenham again. But before the Tottenham game that they played against Wolves, oh well, their 2 players were given red cards and they were not there in the game. So it's exciting how the things are just going like this. It's just exciting how it's playing around. But anyway, let's get into this as it's gonna be exciting. So they played Wolves and Wolves beat them by 2 goals to 1. They also played RB Leipzig, which they beat by 3 goals to 1. They played Arsenal. Arsenal won by 1 goal to 0. They also played Brighton, which they also got a red card, but they won by 2 goals to 1. Played Young Boys, beat them by 3 goals to 1. Played Manchester United, beat them by 3 goals to 0. Played Bournemouth, which they beat by 6 goals to 0. I'm gonna give more review into that game because there's a lot of things that happened in that game. They played Young Boys again, they beat them by 3 goals to 0. And they played Chelsea, the final game, which was a masterclass, which ended by 4 goals to 0. So these are all the teams that we're going to be covering. It's going to be exciting. So the other ones that I did not really watch, because some of the games are really like a waste of time, I'm just going to be doing it so fast. You have to understand, I'm not really a City fan. I'm not going to watch each and every game. Like, for example, why would I really learn to watch Manchester City playing against Young Boys? You see what I mean? See what I mean? If you're a rival, you understand. But yeah, that's all, people. Those are the games that I'm going to be covering when it comes to Man City. Then we'll all move on from this. I just want to talk about how can we rate their run from the last international break to where they are and how they've performed. Because when we talk about dropping down, I think they actually dropped down terribly in this international break. So we're going to break it down and talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the Connect. Let's get into the video. So, West Ham 1, Manchester City 3. If I remember this game, it was not really that, it was not really that far apart if in terms of the performance. It was though far apart. But these were the days where West Ham were known by hurting teams without actually controlling the ball. You have to understand that David Moyes' team, they don't like holding the ball. And Man City went in and they were just crazy the way they played this game. They did so well, played so well. Jeremy Doku scored I think it was his first or second goal, which he scored. Bernardo Silva also scored, and Erling Haaland scored. James Ward-Prowse scored. That's why I've decided to put him in my fantasy team, because I think it's a cheat code. You always get something from him. But it was a good game for Man City. In terms of shots, they were dominating. They had 26-6. And also, I think shots on target, they had 15-3, 31% for West Ham to 69, 704 like passes. So it was something that you would say it was a good game for Man City, especially playing at the home of the Hammers, having that domination and doing everything that they did. Those are the games that City are well known for. So everyone who were watching this game, you would say that we always expect Man City to start low, but it seems like they are back to business, and they mean business this time. But it left us so surprised that West Ham even managed to go. I think it has to be a Ward-Prowse free kick if you have to think about it, because Ward-Prowse scores so many goals if they are free kicks. But as well, the same candidates that we expect to that they score, they are the ones who scored. Yes, you all understand what I mean when I said the same candidates we expect to score. They also played the team coach Shevin is there, I think, in the Champions League. Man City always get the easy groups in the Champions League. I have no idea why, but it always happens. So there's no really that much of time to waste talking about that. We'll move on. Then they played Nottingham Forest, which was actually a close game than what people think, even though the way the City ground. This became exciting because one of the main players for Guardiola got a red card. Rodri was sent off in this game, and that was the beginning of problems, because Man City without a Rodri, it is a different team. And so many people who have watched them and who have been paying attention to the way they perform, they can actually tell you that, yeah, it is a different team. And we saw it in this game. Sorry, I had to put my laptop here. I think you can see it on there, so that it becomes easy for me to show what I'm talking about here. But City without a Rodri is a different game. Of course, Nottingham Forest were not able to reap the benefits of this, because I remember the red card was because he was choking somebody. If I'm not forgetting, let me know in the comment section. So they won the game by 2-0. A clean sheet always important. But that's where things turned around for them. How did they turn around? Because if you watch the next game in the Premier League after that, but before we go to the next game, we talk about Newcastle. That was their first game. Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, they were knocked out by 1-0. They were actually the Newcastle home ground, and trust me, the Geordies always brings it. And they played so well. I think it was one of the best games I saw in terms of how City were trying to break this team down. But Isak, I think it was a solo goal if I remember so well. He played it so well the way he went to score this goal. And we already seeing the cracks that people were talking about. So many people who were going to play Man City were excited by the fact that they were missing so much important players. And I think they reaped what they wanted. They got what they wanted because they were able to win against Man City. This was on the 27th of September. So it means one of the 3 games that which were banned of Rodri was played and they lost. The second game, they went to Molineux, I think that's what it's called. They played against Wolves. And Wolves beat Man City by 2-1. What a good, crazy game. And by the way, to those people who were shocked and were saying that Pochettino is the first guy who actually had a tactic that he used to play around Manchester City and to stretch them out, well, you have to go rewatch the Wolves game. Because if you watch the way the Wolves were stretching Man City, the way they were taking advantage of the fact that they didn't have Rodri, and then they were trying to they were playing actually this young kid, I think it's called Rico Lewis. They were playing him rather than playing a professional DM, and they were hoping that the mix-up of a player coming in the middle would help, but it did not. It just made the game so tiring for them. And all the things happened here. Trust me, it was a good game to watch. I enjoyed it watching it because who expected at Molineux beating Man City? That is serious. So that's also one thing that makes me give my prediction when I say that the Wolves manager is one of the best. The Wolves manager is one of the best because the way they played this game was out of this world. They didn't dominate the game. The Wolves never do that. But they made sure that Man City suffocate. They made sure that the position that Man City had was not impacting in the goals that were scoring. And the interesting part, the one goal that was scored by Man City was actually scored by Julian Alvarez. They nullified and they kept Haaland quiet for the entire game. Jeremy Doku, the guy that people are so excited about, was quiet for this game. So that tells you everything in terms, he was moving the ball, but he was quiet. And Ruben Diaz, I think what we saw in the Chelsea game started even at Wolves, because he had an own goal, scored himself, and Wolves Chan finished it. I remember the Chan goal. Wasn't it the one that he went there and they put it at the bottom corner just nearby and Edison could not do anything? It was one of those games. Please confirm in the comment section if you're a Wolves fan, let me know in the comment section. It was a good game. But and the team that deserved to win, they got it in the very end. So that was the first game where we actually started seeing that, if you play your cards right, if you do so well, you can get something against Man City. And the Wolves really did that. It was exciting. People still remember it like it was yesterday. They went in the Champions League. Rodri was back. They dominated the game and they won against RB Leipzig by 3-1. That's why they're still the top of the group in the Champions League. That tells you how much this team can also dominate if they have to. Then come into the Premier League. This is now the third game without Rodri. They were playing Arsenal. Arsenal, who played the game so well, controlled the game so well, without or with the ball. It was one of the masterclass. Tactically, Mikel Arteta really set this game on, and he took advantage of the fact that Rodri was missing in this game. And to even tell you that it was a good game, position-wise, the difference of Man City and Arsenal, it was only 51 to 49%. It means that Arsenal were just lacking a few bits. It means they were also controlling the game. We also noticed that City, they were reduced to only have one shot on target. Even though Arsenal also had 2 shots on target as well, and they scored one of those shots. But you could see how this game was very, very a tactical game. It demanded so much. It was demanding mentally for these teams, and they played it so well. Which means that when I'm talking about Arsenal, I might not even have to cover this game. We never know. Maybe I might have to, looking at the Arsenal side. But it was a good game. 4 shots overall, the whole entire game, and they came out with nothing. 512% in 512 position passes to 500 of Arsenal. So you can see it's only 21 passes difference from what Arsenal were doing. they controlled this game. I felt like we got to see what Saliba is capable of. We got to see what he can offer. I actually felt like the weakness of Arsenal in this game was their goalkeeper, Raya. I think was doing some crazy things in terms of trying to reach the ball. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we talk more of Arsenal. But we move on from this. It was a good game. I remember it like it was yesterday. Is there any Arsenal fan who can confirm with me when we talk about this? As we move on, Man City went and played against Brighton, which was now the second game of that game when Rodri came back. Because even if you check the lineup, I'm just checking the lineup right now as we speak. Yes, Rodri was back into the team. Into the team. They won the game by 2-0. Julian Alvarez scored the first goal. Then Haaland scored the second goal. Then Ansu Fati scored his first goal. To be honest, this was also one game that was very close, if I remember it so well. Brighton lost the game, but they gave it that. Oh, imagine they were playing at the Etihad, and Brighton had 45%. In the Etihad, where Man City are well known for controlling the ball, Brighton had 45% to 55% of Man City. That tells you how much this game was so close. It was played so well. 6 shots on target for Man City to 3 for Brighton. 5 shots overall for Brighton to 10 for Man City. That just tells you exactly how the game was going. It tells you that Man City have not really gotten to their second gear, and so many teams are still forcing them to make errors or to be in trouble when games are being played. So it was a good game, to be honest. They won it in the end, but it was a good game. Akanji got a red card in the end though, double yellow cards, and he was taken out in the game, which also led to their second game, which was against Young Boy. They won by 3-0. Again, that's why they're on top of their group in the Champions League. So let's move on from that. They now had to go and play at Old Trafford as they were playing in the Manchester Derby. One of those ones. So if there's anyone who knows Manchester United in terms of how they're doing, we all know that Manchester United are dealing with so much. In fact, let's call it a lot for this video. They're dealing with a lot. Manager is fighting with players. Everything is happening. What and what. We all have a lot to talk about. But anyway, Man City went there and they scored 3 goals. They dominated the game. They controlled everything and they outclassed Manchester United. So many titles came out. Man City outclassed the Manchester United in all the set. Haaland scored a penalty and another goal. Phil Foden scored the last goal, who actually enjoys playing against United because he's always scoring. And 61% to City to 39 of Manchester United. 3 shots on target for United, but no goal. To 10 shots on target for Man City. So Onana was the busiest of these goalkeepers. And 4 yellows for United to 1 for Man City. It was a crazy game. And also, we need to talk about it as well. The penalty that Haaland was given at Manchester United, I have so many questions about that one because VAR also played a part into deciding where this game was going. And so many people were not happy with. I wasn't really, but that's what happened. So it was a good game. It ended 3-0 to Man City's favors, but nobody expected what we saw next. Because Man City had a visitor who was coming into their team in the name of Bournemouth. Bournemouth with their new manager, I think they call him Mino Raiola or something like that. That was a crazy game. Because Jeremy Doku was on fire. In an interesting game, Haaland did not even score in this game. But Man City went out 6-1 winners in this game. Doku scored the first goal 30 minutes, assisted Bernardo Silva, assisted as well Michael Angie, assisted Phil Foden, and also assisted Aki. So 5 assists. Plus, in fact, I think there were 6 assists if I remember so well, or maybe 6 or 4. 6 assists from Jeremy Doku, plus his goal. No, there were 5 assists plus his goal, or 4 assists. Let me know in the comment section. But he actually outclassed what the Manchester United player did the whole entire, like I repeat, the whole entire season, last year and this year, which we call him Anthony. He was outclassed in terms of assist GA records by Jeremy Doku in one game. And everyone could not stop talking about this guy, could not stop talking about this kid, what he's going to be able to do, how he is turning Man City into his own, how he has now made sure that the jerseys he is not gonna be Jack Grealish at all. And so many people were talking about. And I think there were some things that were mentioned, I think, which was very important in this win, which was how important it was to notice that Jeremy Doku actually goes at players. He does not come back and pass at the back. He goes one-on-one, try to ask so much, which makes the Liverpool game a little bit scary, especially when Trent Alexander-Arnold has to deal with him. But he goes at players. He puts so much pressure and he tries to get as much as he can in this game. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comment section. That's what actually happened, if I remember so well. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. As we move on, so Aki, I think he got an injury in the game. Yeah, I believe he got an injury in the game. And that's when he went out, which we're not even sure when he's going to be back. Bournemouth managed to score 1 goal, but they were outclassed, they were outplayed, and everything happened in this game. Even though it was at Etihad, you would expect Man City to always have control and position at the Etihad. So after that, after the masterclass that we saw from Bournemouth, they also went to Young Boys came to City and they were beaten by 3-0. Again, that's why Man City are on top of their group. As we move on, let's talk about the last game. Mamma mia. Again, I'm going to tell you there's still going to be more reviews when it comes to this game because what we saw was out of this world. There's something that I'm going to talk about in this game which I've been learning. You know, it's good to learn a lot of things which I've been learning, rewatching the game and also listening to people talking. Man City were put in an uncomfortable situation by Chelsea. I'm going to explain how. How did this happen? So, the game played 4-4. It ended 4-4. And if you go to look at position-wise, 55% to 45% of Chelsea. The interesting part is this. Chelsea, they're the second team with the most position in the Premier League. But their problem has been scoring, finishing their dinner. But it was not their problem in this game. Because they had 9 shots. And of those 9 shots, 9 shots on target. Of those 9 shots on target, 4 of them, close to half, were all goals. That tells you so much about the mentality of the team. Which also goes to City, which had 10 shots on target, and 4 of them were goals. That tells you as well so much. But also tells us a different story in terms of defenses. There is a problem with the Man City defense. And it was not only because they did not understand what they were doing. I feel Mauricio Pochettino's tactics was the most important thing in causing Man City to be in that problem. So I'm going to talk about this thing which is very important, which I think Man City did so perfectly well, which Chelsea did so perfectly well to give this game away from Man City, to cause problems to this Man City squad, which was how Man City Chelsea were sitting up. So this is how the Chelsea lineup was like. It was, oh, don't worry, I have the lineup here. It's going to be easy. I won't give him a proof. So it was Sanchez at goal, James on the right, the Sassi at the right as well, alongside James, Silva and the Cucurella on the other side. Moises Caicedo alongside the Enzo Fernandez were the ones who were like the DMs, the ones who were behind, with the front three of Palmer, Gallagher, and Sterling, with Nicolas Jackson going up top. Palmer, of course, and the Sterling, you'd expect them to be the wingers who runs on the sides. But this was the interesting part. Palmer was never running on the wings. As well as Sterling was doing it sometimes, but not most of the times. But especially Palmer, I did not see Palmer running on the wings. He was always playing inside. In fact, he was like an inside winger. And let me explain how that is very important in terms of how Man City were overcome to this. So Chelsea were using Reece James to become the guy who fills on the wings. They were using so much him to become the guy who fills on the wings. And when they lose the ball while he's up forward, Palmer, as he was playing it, that he was coming back to become a helper, while Moises Caicedo was also going to fill up for James a bit while he's still in the middle, which I think played so well. But also understand that City have this new lineup that they're playing now, which also is similar to Chelsea. Walker, Diaz, and Gavadio as the back three, Akanji and Rodri at the midfield two, with a front four which is like a line of Foden, Alvarez, Silva, and Doku, which will be up forward, and Haaland up top. So it means every single time whenever Chelsea were attacking, Akanji had to drop back to become into a back four, which meant Rodri, most of the times, he was being exposed, left alone in the DM position. And in the DM position where he has to deal with this is how it was like. Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Sterling, Conor Gallagher, and as well as Palmer, who was not going on the wings. Sterling could be on the wings, but it means Palmer and Gallagher, while Enzo and this one. It means they're the midfield four alongside Rodri, who also had some help from Bernardo Silva, and Akanji was failing to come back to help out to make it 4-4 in the midfield, which forced him to come back at the back because of how Nicholas Jackson was positioning himself. He was putting himself in the middle of Diaz and Akanji, so it was hard for them to define who exactly is marking who, and that's how they explode City. And they make sure that they suffocate. There is a long video in 442, go check it out, where they do a proper analysis of this game. You would understand what I'm trying to give you. And also here's that thing that he actually shows you how the game went on. But it was a masterclass, which Chelsea was only trying to produce chaos in this game. And they did produce the chaos. And how the chaos helped at the end was to give Chelsea 4 goals. But also they were not really good defensively, which also allowed them to be shipped 4 goals, or in fact 3 goals. With that penalty was a joke. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think of City? I felt like they did not perform so well, because in terms of wins in this time since the last international break, they had less wins than usual. So total numbers of games that they played, of course we have already talked about them. So it is in the Premier League, it is West Ham. They also played, no, I think let's just talk about English games. So it is West Ham. They played Nottingham Forest. Yes, West Ham, Nottingham Forest. Am I forgetting something? Yes, West Ham, Nottingham Forest. They played Newcastle. They played Wolves. They played Arsenal. They also played Chelsea. So, and Bournemouth. So, in all these games, so it's West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Newcastle, then Brighton, then what? United, then Chelsea, then Bournemouth, I think. So of those ones, if you could count how many wins they have had, it was United win, it was Bournemouth win, it was Brighton win, it was also which win as well? It was Nottingham Forest win. The rest were losses. And the West Ham win. The rest were losses. So they've had so many losses than usual, and they were pegged 4 goals by Chelsea, which has not happened in a long time. but you can tell how City are not yet back to their very best. They're still making so many mistakes which teams are taking advantage of, and they're hurting them. But anyway, we can wait and see how they will improve. But it was a good game. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think of City, and what would you expect them to do after the international break? How would they recover from this, and how would they actually make sure that they take advantage of this? Anyway, this has been Sam, and this has been the Football Connect. Do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the Connect. Let me know what you thought of this. Do you want me to continue doing this? It looks like it's a wrap up of Man City and all that they've been doing in this week. The next is Liverpool because they're number 2. Then we go Arsenal. Can't wait. Click the like button and join me for another video. I'm out. Subscribe to the Connect. We go. Peace. We go.